Thanks for tuning in again for a new script on the block, a podcast about the art of screenwriting and filmmaking. I'm your host, Nero, and here with me are my co-hosts, Alyssa, Ashley, and Graham. Yeah, I did say the names because it's written here on the script that I'm reading right now in front of me.
Is it really?
Exactly. Well, anyway, whether you love listening to interviews with independent filmmakers, hearing unique indie film scripts, or catching a glimpse into how big blockbuster scripts were written, you can catch more screenwriting info here every week by subscribing on our SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And be sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or comment at us wherever you're listening and tell us what you want to hear more of. Cool. So today, I'm here with this script from,
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
You were the one who picked it.
Did I? I think me and Graham picked this. And I think me and Graham are the only ones that have actually watched this, right?
I have not watched it.
Yep.
I've heard great things about it, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually didn't hear great things about it. I mean, I want to see it anyway, but I didn't hear great reviews on that.
I heard it's a tough movie to watch, and that Adam Sandler is amazing in it.
I feel like there were a lot of mixed reviews. Like, it's kind of like those, like, love-hate relationships with, like, that movie.
Like
Oh,
Celeste was
interesting.
too.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Well, I feel like that's almost the case, like, this writer-director shares that same, like, that same clout as, like, Ari Aster. Like, you either loved Hereditary and hated Midsommar, or you liked both of them. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a style thing.
Yeah.
Like, they have a style.
Who is the director/writer?
The Safdie brothers. I don't know their first names. Do you know their first
What
names?
interesting last name.
I think they're, like, I think they're either Armenian or, like, they're definitely from the East.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think. They're definitely not,
Definitely,
like...
I think.
They're
Definitely, I
definitely not. Okay.
Wishy-washy.
But they also did Good Time, which I loved.
Oh.
So it's kind of similar with Hereditary and Midsommar, because I loved Hereditary, didn't like Midsommar. So I guess it is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I like both. I like Good Time, and I enjoyed Uncut Gems, but
Sometimes you have, like, things you have to sit on, you know what I mean? Like, for a while, like, you have to absorb it for a while,
Yeah.
and then later you look back and you're like, when I left the theater, I wasn't in love with it. But now that I've had time to contemplate it and soak it in, a little part of me looks back and thinks, actually, it was pretty good. Like, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I left.
Or the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
You leave the theater thinking, man, that was a great movie.
But then
and
you
then
think more and more about it.
And you're like, oh, you know what?
I did that with Star Wars. Like with
the
the new
newest one?
like the new sequels.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh man, so much emotion, and then I'm like, that was stupid. But yeah, we're gonna take a read at a cool scene that we selected, and after that, we're gonna watch the actual scene and see how they compare. Well, before that, we're probably gonna like review, give our little feedback on like how this was written as a script, and then we'll check out the actual scene. Cool?
Cool.
Sweet. This is a new script on the block. Oh wait, this is also a new script on the block behind the scene. This
Before
is
the
before the scene. Behind the before the scene. All right, so we're doing Uncut Gems. We're gonna start on page 30. We selected our parts, and everyone good to go?
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
Nope, you're the narrator. You go ahead.
All right, here we go. Narrating. Should I do a narrating voice?
Does
For
the narrator
this
have to be British? Because you love accents for the first, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then it devolves into whatever.
I
Yeah.
think just because
I just
of
don't want to
how-
offend the Brits when you start going, like, Scottish and then slowly dissipate to your American accent.
Hey, you know what, listeners? Comment if you like Nero's voices or hate them. I'll stop if you tell me to stop. But
No,
since
knowing you, you would just
I'd keep going.
doing it.
I wouldn't listen to you guys. Even if you commented, please stop doing it. I won't. Anyway, you should tell me. You should comment, like, and subscribe. But anyway, cool. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yep.
We'll see what accent comes out. We'll see. It could be anything.
One thing before you start, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just noticed this because I read this basketball player's name, and not that I'm like, really into basketball, but it's Amari Stoudemire, and he was a Suns player. That's the only reason I know it.
Amari.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a legit Suns?
He used to be.
Oh, okay.
He was with Steve Nash, like that whole era.
Huh. I wonder why the Safdie brothers, why they selected that specific basketball player.
I mean, he was a beast, but Kevin Garnett, he was like a legend.
Yeah. Well,
so,
spoiler alert, Kevin Garnett is like Amari.
I don't know about you, but that's not a spoiler for me because I'm like, I don't know fucking anything
You
about
guys are speaking
these basketball
gibberish,
players,
so-
right? Like, he'll show up in the movie and I'll be like, oh, hey, is that the guy they were talking about?
even when I first saw him, in this movie, I was like, wait, is that him? And because he's not, a really recognizable person to at least me. I watch
Or an
basketball.
actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not an actor.
Exactly. So I was it took me to the end of the movie to look it up and be like, oh, okay,
I mean,
that was him.
I'm not into basketball. I watch baseball, but it's I feel you. When you're watching them on the field, most of the time it's not it's super tight on their face. So if I saw one of them in person, I'd probably be like, is that? I don't know.
Is it super tight somewhere else?
Oh, I'm definitely looking at their butts.
Oh, yeah. Just wanted that recorded.
I have no idea what their faces look like.
But them asses, though, as they walk to that
Ooh,
that
those
plate.
baseball shorts, man.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go. Here we go. As white guy, as white guy leaves, Amari Stoudemire, 30, black, a 7-foot superstar basketball player, enters the space, kissing a Mezua. With him are Damani, 30, black, flashy, wearing a lot of jewelry, privileged, 29, heavyset rapper, lots of jewelry, a younger black male, and a white young woman.
I just like that you're having a harder time with this than reading the script for Parasite, which is literally a foreign language film.
Oh my gosh. Damani embraces Howard. What's Gucci, Howard?
Damani.
Damani introduces Amari. Amari, that's Howard.
Baruch Hassim, Amari. I can't begin to tell you what an honor it is to have you here, in my showroom. You happen to be a personal hero of mine, and I want you to feel entirely at home here. And needless to say, what's mine is yours.
I appreciate being here. When I enter into a new environment, what I most prefer is the freedom to explore my space, quietly and peacefully, and let things come to me. Do you mind if I do that?
Not at all. Sadie? Can you bring Amari some refreshments?
Howard offers a $100 bill to Sadie.
What should I...
I'm not thirsty. I'm not hungry. But thank you. Can I explore?
Be my guest.
Amari quickly surveys the showroom. He begins by examining the photo gallery on his walls. A collection of famous people posing with Howard, e.g. J.R. Smith, Patrick Ewing, Cameron, Cyndi Lauper, whatever. Cyndi Lauper, Wiz Khalifa, Ja Rule, Al Goldstein, Capri Sun, Ray Forecaster, etc. Howard watches him in great anticipation.
I think it speaks bounds that you know Wiz Khalifa and Ja Rule, but you don't know Cypress Hill or Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Why, are they white or something?
It's just the difference in the type of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I hook you up or what?
You're incredible.
I told you I'd bring Amari. And what'd I do?
You brought Amari.
Amari explores the showcases, muttering quietly to himself. The rest of the posse. Posse. You know what? I'm gonna read it the way I want
When
to.
your posse's hella French Revolution.
Posse. The rest of the posse start to browse as well, while privileged Sedels up to Sadie.
Look at you, huh?
What about me?
How much for?
Sadie reaches over and grabs Privilege's cell phone from his hand.
How much for you?
She starts looking through the photos on his phone. Howard looks annoyed.
Oh, you're dangerous. I like that. Yo, this girl's tight. Grabs my phone like that.
Sadie zooms in on a nude photo of Privilege.
All right, give it back to me.
Yussi re-enters his space. He rests his arms on the showcase. That's that date with the president bracelet. Yussi holds his wrist out for Damani.
Yeah, solid yellow. You like it?
Shit's hot. Yo, Priv, check out this rollie. Privilege leaves Sadie and moves over to inspect Yussi's Rolex. Howard again looks annoyed.
I can get them for you in yellow or rose for cheap.
Oh, yeah? How much?
23 or 24.
That's a good price. With the box and papers?
With box and papers.
We gotta get Amari up on this.
Howard approaches Yussi.
Yussi, please, what are you doing?
What?
Stop. Stop now.
Howard drifts back. Yussi, upset, retreats to the back room. This brother can't entrust anything.
Anything you want. I'm your brother.
Is that true?
Of course.
Amari shifts his weight from one knee to the other and stretches.
You have the longest arms. Hold them out.
Amari smiles and displays his incredible wingspan.
That's insane.
Just incredible.
Sadie laughs. Leaning on the showcase, Amari looks at the gems.
You're going to that big ball?
How do you know about that?
I know everything.
Yeah. I want something Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Maybe a high with a little...
Don't say ice. You're not a diamond guy. Everyone's got diamonds.
What do you mean by that?
You're not an ice guy.
No more Mr. Ice Guy.
Sure, a little ice here and there, but you're like a pigeon vein blood red ruby on a dancing sapphire. Look, if you want stones, I can get that for you too. I take care of people I love. Ask anyone.
What about that ruby Joe sent over?
The cushion 6? Yeah, go get that.
Sadie heads to the back room. Amani, Amari, and Privilege inspect the pieces out on the showcase. Sadie returns and places a box in front of Howard.
I'm out. Be back in an hour.
I'll let you know about that date. Come by Priv's show. Yo, Howard, you too. You gotta come to Priv's show tomorrow night.
Tomorrow? Sure. Wait, fuck, I have my kids play.
You should come.
Where?
Webster Hall. I go on around 10.
Oh, I can make it by then.
What about you?
I can be there whenever.
Yeah, I'll meet up with you guys at 10, or just before probably.
I can't come tomorrow, but text me about the date. Joanny. Buzz.
Yussi hands Damani a card and is buzzed out.
Damani, what time is it?
What time you gotta be somewhere?
Brother, Howard's good people.
Show him the ruby.
Howard pulls a gold jeweler's lupe from a necklace around his neck. He hands the lupe to Amari and offers him the ruby. Amari leans heavily on the showcase.
Amari, sorry, but if you need to lean on the case, please lean on the edges, not on the glass. Please.
Amari puts a lupe down, disinterested.
I don't feel this.
Buzz. Nadav appears at the door with a large styrofoam crate over his shoulder. Sadie buzzes him in.
Who's that?
Nadav.
Nadav enters carrying an enormous wooden crate. Howard grows excited and puts his arm around Amari.
Oh my god. Amari, you're gonna love this.
Nadav moves towards the back room. Howard follows him.
Amari, give me a second, please. It's for you. Please. I've got a bunch of Powerade in the fridge.
Thank you, I'm not thirsty.
Show him what we did with Fat Joe, when he was actually fat.
Howard hurries into the back room. Interior, KMA Gems and Jewelry Office. Back room, continuous. Howard, now serious.
It's heavy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nadav puts the crate down on the desk. Howard grabs a crowbar and cracks open the case. Inside is a styrofoam crate, and inside that are 4 large fish wrapped in clear vacuum-sealed bags. He slices one of them open, searches inside, nothing. He grabs another fish, cuts it open, nothing. He grabs another, slices, and pulls out a wet, black plastic bag the size of a grapefruit. Inside this bag is a large, uncut, 600-carat black opal, the gem from the African mine. He grabs a loupe and looks into an opening in the gem.
It's beautiful.
Interior, KMA Gems and Jewelry Office Showroom continuous. Howard rushes out of the back room, gem in hand. Nadav follows.
This is your lucky day, Amari.
Howard presents the black opal to Amari, who leans on the glass showcase to look at it.
Very special. From an untapped mine in Ethiopia.
Howard hands him a loupe. Amari takes it and looks into the gem.
I can have it cut up and have a couple carats set into anything. Earrings, charms. Been tracking it for a while. Not easy to get.
Amari closely inspects the gem, transfixed. Interior inside the gemstone, continuous. The camera zooms into the gem. Again, we see a kaleidoscope of color, light, and swirling abstract shapes. A psychedelic trip, hauntingly beautiful and mesmerizing. Interior, KMA Gems and Jewelry Office, showroom continuous. Crash! All of a sudden, Amari's elbows break through the glass showcase. Howard, Joanny, and Sadie scream. Damani and Privilege jump back in shock.
Amari, fuck!
Amari's arms are covered in blood. He pulls himself out of his reverie. Sadie runs over with some paper towels and tends to his elbows.
I said don't lean on it. You all heard me.
Let me take it tonight.
What?
Let me take it tonight. I need it.
It's set for auction next week. I'm already late for appraisal.
Amari gives him a deep, soulful stare.
One night. 16 hours. What's 16 hours with sleep?
Amari, I'm sorry.
I'll gram 3 pictures of you and me together right now. And I'll post a pic of the stone afterward and say, my game shines because of it.
Ah, shit. Tag Nagy in the picture and in the comments.
Of course.
Follow me in like 30 pictures.
This very second.
Howard thinks long and hard.
Tomorrow, okay? No excuses.
Oh, God.
It's weird hearing social
My
media
throat's so much.
terms and stuff in.
Yeah, your voice got kind of raspy.
I'm sorry.
Hearing social media in scripts is weird.
Like, the first time I heard MySpace in a movie, I was like, oh, fuck.
Whoa! Relevant!
That's crazy. They're using, like, real world
I
things
use
in
MySpace.
movies. Yeah.
He said gram instead of Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, shit! He said, give me some likes. I know what that means.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Oh.
like, someone that doesn't is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Follow me and like. Yeah. 30
No, yeah,
pictures.
I've always thought it was weird seeing like Instagram or just like whatever, just social media in general.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
phones too. Like I always thought that was kind of weird, but I've gotten used to it.
I like
Yeah.
seeing them use it as currency. That's the crazy part to me is it's like they're having a back and forth about paying for using this gem for a night and their currency is social media like exposure.
Right. Have either of you guys seen any clip from this movie?
Or a trailer?
I've seen the trailer, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you much about the trailer. Like, I'm obviously in the trailer. We're led to assume that Adam Sandler's character is up to some shady business, right? Like, he's doing something highly illegal. And even in this scene, like, the context of him, like, tearing open fish, saying that it was really hard to get, like, I can only assume that he's getting these products in an illegal fashion. Otherwise, it wouldn't need to be so sneaky.
In fish? You don't get your jewelry from, like, cutting open fish? It's like a surprise in a cereal box.
Except
totally,
you have to,
totally
I like
legal.
fish.
you have to gut a fish for it.
Yeah.
No, we haven't seen the movie.
Or, well,
Okay,
anything about it.
The reason I mention that is because I think you guys are in for a surprise when it comes to watching this because it is hectic as hell.
Well, the script is.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's so calm in this, it seems like. And then when you watch, like, they talk over each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just feels like a completely different, like, tone.
I feel like the way that the script is written, I register that because, one, there's just so many characters popping up and saying random little things that it already feels like man, this is too many people, and knowing like what jewelry stores normally look like, again, it's like it has to be a pretty tight space with all these people, and some of them are like a pro athlete that's super huge, right, taking up extra space.
Yeah.
So I just assume that the environment's got to be chaotic. And then in addition to that, even the way that they write some of the action description is just like pile on, pile on, pile on. Like there's a lot of sentences where they're just pushing a narrative of a lot's going on in short sequence, or we see a lot in short sequence together.
Yeah. But it's a good point to bring up, because we know that the focus of like this scene and the movie in general is that well, specifically in this scene, Howard is just trying to get Amari to buy something.
Right.
But everyone else is talking about, hey, you want to hook up, like, you know, go to my show that's later tonight. You know, are you going to be there? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. Oh, I can't be there, you know. But Howard's like, I just want to sell
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even the other guy that was like, hey, you want this instead? And it's like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go away.
But I think that with Howard, like, in this scene, it feels like you're registering that it's not just about the money side, it's also about the, like, wanting to be liked or respected in that field, wanting people to think highly of you, wanting to be associated with certain celebrities, wanting to be identified as, like, this go-to guy for a variety of, like, people who are in a position of some sort of, you know, power or acknowledged celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just a customer server, like, aspect of it. Like, when he's out there on the showroom versus when he's talking to Nadav. Like, in the script it says, Howard, now serious. Now he's, like, you know, talking to his staff instead of talking to his customers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, even to the, like, glass thing is funny because it's, like, a break for the character, because at first he's, like, again, trying to be buddy-buddy, trying to be the cool sales guy, like, you like me, so you're going to buy from me. It's not really about the product so much as it is about, like, us being quote-unquote friends. But then, okay, but seriously, don't lean on the fucking glass.
Yep.
I feel like I've experienced that before.
What,
like
don't lean on the glass?
I'm trying to be buddy. It was like, but please don't touch that.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, yeah, let's have fun, but please don't touch that.
Yeah.
And then they touch it, and I'm like, why the fuck did you touch it?
It's so weird too, like, in this scene, like, you are watching Howard want to make the sale, right, to this big guy who definitely has money. Like, there's no doubt, right? This is someone who's famous. This is someone who is a pro athlete. Like, they've got the finance to back getting something. But then at the end of the scene, he goes the whole, let me just have it for just this event. I don't want to, like, make a purchase, spend the hard cash on it, and I'm going to give you a bunch of exposure and shit. And it's like, it's weird because that is so the time that we live in now, where
I'll pay you an exposure?
yeah, I'll pay you an exposure is such a thing, like, in multiple markets. But to even see that in this industry, like the jewelry market, it's like, it's a hard physical product. Like, you buy it or you fucking don't.
Yeah.
Like, that would piss, like, ooh, I would not like
I guess
that.
Wait, he doesn't really offer to buy it, huh? He just says, let me have it.
Well, the thing
Just
is,
for
too,
tonight,
Yeah.
what does it even look like? Is it, because he said it would say raw, uncut
Opal.
opal.
A black opal.
But then he does imply to him that he can do the work to get it into whatever carat and whatever thing he wants by the time. But now he's doing all of that work at the last minute, and he's not getting fucking paid for it.
And also, I'm just going to say it, he's probably not going to make his kids play.
Yeah, Ashley is a rock lover, and I think that's what I'm interested in seeing Ashley's reaction
To the scene.
to this to this scene, and specifically to the gem that they're talking about, because Ashley's super into it. Do you when you look at gems, you see a kaleidoscope of color, light, and twirling abstract shapes in a psychedelic trip, hauntingly beautiful and mesmerizing? Is that why you're super into gems?
Yes.
Not
Whoa.
just because of Steven Universe.
No, not at all.
You hear that, Rebecca Sugar? She was like,
I'm joking. No, I've always liked shiny rocks.
Shiny rocks.
Yeah.
Like, I just think the action description has, like, a lot of run-on sentences and a lot of, like, beginner grammatical stuff that I'm like...
do you have a specific example on what page?
Well, I mean, even this first paragraph at the beginning of where we started, which is, like, toward the end of page 30, right? Like, honestly, a lot of this information is, like, why is it even in here? Like, we already... First of all, like, your character's a celebrity. Do you really need to describe in detail every aspect of who he is as a person? And secondly, is it entirely relevant to the scene that we know that he is 30, black, a 7-foot superstar basketball player, like, enters the space. Like, it's just, and this is a total run-on, right? Like, you've got, like, so many commas in these first couple of sentences that it's just... it's taking way too long to get into this actual scene, in my opinion.
I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
Critiquing that part of that script on page 30.
Yeah.
What would you recommend writers do that isn't this?
Well, first of all, I understand, like, I'll say this. I get the relevance for casting purposes and for storytelling purposes to say, like, their age or some sort of age range, right? And having a brief description of the character is completely appropriate, but again, it should be brief. And I also feel like instead of breaking up each individual piece and putting a comma after every single one of them, like, it doesn't need to read Amari, Stoudemire? Is that how it's pronounced? Okay, Amari Stoudemire, comma, 30, comma, black, comma. A 7-foot superstar basketball player enters the space, comma, kissing a mezuzah on his way in, period. Like, why would you not just say, Amari Stoudemire, the famous basketball player, comma, kisses a mezuzah on his way in? Like, it just feels like so much bulk that's unnecessary, and especially with your celebrity. Like, even the next character, though, who isn't, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know if that's based on a real person or not. I have no idea.
It's someone else.
Yeah, so that has a ton of, like, with him are Damani, 30, black, flashy, wearing a lot of jewelry. Like, I also just don't, like, Damani, 30s, is a flashy gentleman, period. I don't know. Whatever, like, that could be a sentence of his own instead of making it a run-on that goes into the description of privilege. Like, right. Why is that one sentence, and why are there so many fucking commas? Like, if anything, it's just poor grammar and not so much... And here's the thing is, a lot of people, or in my experience, a lot of beginner writers or writers who don't have a well-established career, as in they are not getting paid to be a writer full-time, have the tendency to think or be of the mentality that the grammar and the spelling and the formatting isn't important if the story is good. And I gotta tell you, I don't care if your story is good, because if I can't read it, it's not. Like, it's not a good story if I can't read it.
Damn.
And it's hard to read things that have poor grammar. Like, it makes it difficult when it's stagnated in a way where you're missing pieces of information because you're just trying to get through stuff that's annoying and inconvenient to have to read, or you're stuck on a point that isn't super relevant because of the way it's formatted. I don't get that. Maybe I'm totally alone in that opinion.
I totally agree. Hey, would you accept, like, if I was to rewrite it, I would say, as a white guy leaves, superstar basketball player Amari Stoudemire walks in with his posse, period. He kisses a mezuzah on his way in.
Period. Yeah.
Period.
Totally works. Absolutely.
Take notes, Affy brothers.
Right.
Or Safety brothers.
I think, and these people are professionals, and, you know, don't get me wrong, maybe I'm missing something, right? But we've read a lot of scripts on this show and done in a variety of ways, and I'm just saying...
It's not the easiest way.
Yeah, this isn't the easiest way or the most readable way.
Yeah.
You got a good point there. Make it easy on yourself as a writer.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, like, destroy your
comma
brain.
explain it. Or even in, like, what another part that gets me is, like, when they describe all the famous people on the wall. Like, did you really have to list that? Like, we get the idea. Like, leave that work to the prop department. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you don't have to list for the reader, for everyone the script's passes through their hands, doesn't need to know exactly each individual celebrity you have personally selected that needs to be on that wall. Yeah. Like leave that for when you go to shoot it. It's not relevant when you're reading it. You could have just said an array of famous people posed with Howard.
You bring an interesting point, but I don't know if it's relevant to this specific case with, names and also photos of famous people on that wall that could be handled by our department. But do you think they needed to put that in there in order to sell the script better?
Well, if anything, and this is just my perspective, like thinking from a producer brain standpoint, like if anything, leaving the studio the opportunity to insert celebrities they're personally aligned with or would more so benefit from having displayed would be better, in my opinion. Like, why list specific people when the studio heads could have people that would be more beneficial for them to be involved in the project?
Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss, or we can watch this scene?
This podcast is brought to you by Arizona Studios. Arizona Studios, a full-service video content specialist. We're here to illuminate your message and compel your audience to take the right action. For more information, head to our website at arizonastudios.com and be sure to tune in for more content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, so what do you guys think about that scene?
I don't understand why they even bothered writing a script. They could have just made an outline, it sounds like.
Maybe the script is an outline.
Have you guys watched any BTS on this?
I have not.
I am desperate to know, when did this happen? Did they get on set that day and the actors were like, fuck your script, man. This isn't what my character would say.
I feel like someone as big as, Kevin Garnett, he was like, I don't want to read your lines. I feel like some, people who aren't actors but they're celebrities,
yeah,
they don't care about what's written on the script. They just want to do them. They want to just say whatever they want.
Or if anything, the director is like, okay, you can say whatever you want, whatever feels natural to you in
as
the
long
response
as at some point.
in response to what Howard's character is telling you, can react however you want.
I mean, literally.
Or, and towards the end of, okay, after he shows you the opal, all you have to say, make sure that you say is, I need it, I gotta have it.
We gotta hit certain lines.
Yeah.
I mean, I also do want to mention that, this has Amari Stoudemire in here. That's not, Kevin Garnett. This is probably not the final script. There has to have been something after this. I assume if they still, at this point, thought they were going to have Amari Stoudemire, that's their main basketball player.
Maybe they didn't fucking care. They were like, just get me a basketball player.
But to be that specific, you would think that in the
script, in the script they could have said a star basketball player.
Yeah.
Well, what team is Kevin Garnett?
He was on the Celtics at the point.
And what state or city is that?
Boston.
Boston, and they're in New York. They're fairly close. So
maybe it was just a logistical thing. I don't know. I would agree that I think it's probably a production thing, right? It's probably this is who we got.
Mm-hmm. And he is a known person. He is.
Yeah, and I could also get when you're working with a celebrity who isn't an actor, asking them to even memorize the lines is already a big ask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have been a factor in it too. Is we need a celebrity. They need to be a pro athlete. They need to be capable of acting just enough to be passable in the scene. They need to be someone that the studio can get a hold of, that we can manage to get into this project in our budget. I'm sure there were a ton of factors that went into that decision process.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the part that catches me off guard. From the very beginning of the scene, the second you start playing it, already whatever was happening in the scene before is not what was originally happening in the script, clearly, because we went from our main character being in the room already when the athlete walks into the room to our character obviously walking in to find the star player after assuming something bad has already happened.
Some
right?
sort of altercation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And moreover, an altercation that all of these characters who were supposed to just be walking in have witnessed because they have things to say about it from the second that the scene starts.
Yeah.
The dialogue is completely different. I understood, like, when he cuts open the fish, I get why that was so much faster, because just editing-wise and timing-wise, like, no one wants to sit and watch him gut, like, 3 fish in a row to find
Well,
the
he
one
was
that
like,
has it.
realistically, when it's vacuum sealed, feeling it first and then
Yeah.
And then
cutting it.
open,
Yeah, it made more sense.
Maybe when they wrote it and then they realize when they get props like that, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is how fish is delivered
Yeah.
in New York.
Like, they're
Yeah.
definitely sensible changes, but then there are also, like, story changes that are like, why is this different? Like, the flirtation between the girl behind the counter and one of the guys, like, never happens in this scene. Like, did they cut out that encounter just in the scene, or is there implied, like, flirtation just not a scene in the story at all the entire movie now?
Well, that was specifically for, like, privileges, the character's privilege in the script. That was kind of his thing to interact with.
Yeah.
And maybe when it came down to, like, shooting it, they were like, oh, let's not take away from, the presence of Kevin Garnett. He should be our focus. Let's focus on him. And obviously Damani is, like, the middleman. So those are defaulted more of a priority than random posse members. Like, it's described like there's a white girl with them, and she says nothing in the script. I mean, in the scene itself, she's just kind of hanging there, and there's not, like, any attention given to her because why do we need to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like that there was this significant change?
I mean, I'm indifferent. Like, how do I put it? I'm not so attached to the script that I'm unhappy that the scene is completely different, and I'm not so attached to the scene that I care that the script is different. I just feel like, and I haven't seen the rest of the movie, right? Like, I haven't seen the rest of the movie, I haven't read the rest of the script. I don't know if this is a pattern that's consistent with these directors or the way that they film, but it does feel very, like, again, like, you could have just had an outline. Like, why even take the time? Like, you wrote a script basically to pitch the idea to, I'm assuming, a studio, get them convinced that they should let you do it, and then you said, okay, fuck it, now that we're in, we don't need to play by their rules at all.
Exactly,
like,
yeah. I mean, what did you guys think of the scene overall? Like, with it being that hectic, does that interest you guys, or was it a little too hectic, or do you think it was pulled off well?
I personally would love one of those Furby necklaces.
You're just interested in that
right.
Furby.
He sold you.
You mean that gremlin?
Yeah.
Yo, oh shit, is that a gremlin?
Doesn't it kill you inside when he keeps saying it? You're just like, no, man, it's a Furby.
It's a Furby!
Oh, so regarding the script,
Yeah.
the original script, and, like, what came out of the scene, Amari, like, do you know if Amari originally is Jewish? Like, as the real person? Because is Kevin Garnett Jewish?
Oh, maybe
Like,
that's why they cut that out.
Well,
Yeah.
I wondered if Kevin Garnett, well, he was still interested in it's like, black Jews, whoa, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
does that resonate with him because he is also Jewish, or
No.
he's not Jewish, he's just interested?
No, he can't be, because in the scene, in that context, he even says, have you heard of black Jews? And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's in disbelief.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a Hebrew. Israeli.
Amari is.
Yeah.
Amari
Stoudemire. Oh, Stoudemire reportedly began converting to Judaism.
Maybe originally they wrote
Yeah.
Amari in because of, like, oh, he's...
The Jewish connection.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't watched the rest of the movie. Is
Isn't-
religion a big part of it?
Not really.
Isn't Howard Jewish, though?
No, he is. He is. Well, yeah, he's Jewish. And so is Adam Sandler.
Oh.
Adam
Well, but
Sandler's
I
Jewish.
assume that's because of the, like, industry, right, that they're exploring in this, because
The jewelry business?
yeah,
in New
like I
York?
think in New York in that business, that's not uncommon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For the movie as a whole, the whole Jewish thing is just an identity thing for the character.
Okay.
And it does play a part with an event, I think, Shabbat or something, where it's a get-together, a specific get-together, and that was a medium for conflict.
Gotcha.
Because it brought everyone together, and that is introducing one character to another that might not see eye to eye.
I was so confused by the character motivations in this scene for Howard.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I just don't understand what he wants, because he'll do and say something and then have a reaction that seems conflicting with what I thought he wanted. Like, I can't tell if he's, and I haven't watched the rest of the movie, like, is he a really great actor, sales guy? Is that, like, his shtick or what? Because it's...
He's definitely a convincer.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
a convincer.
Like, he's the type of person who manipulates.
Yes.
Okay.
Manipulation is the key word.
Yep.
Okay. Because in this scene, it's like, I mean, what they said made sense. Like, when he's like, why would you even show me it if you didn't want to sell it to me? Like, I definitely was thinking the same thing. Like, I'm like, he gets all hype about, but I also couldn't tell because the character's so convincing. In the previous scene, when he pulls out the black opal, is looking at it, he seems so taken with it, and he also just seems like a really scattered guy, right? So I did buy into, like, he's the type of person who would be, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing ever, I'm gonna go show it to the celebrity,
Show it
because
off.
again, it feels less like a sales guy thing and more like I want to be your friend, I want you to like me, I want you to want to have a
I have this
relationship
cool
with me,
thing.
so I'm going to share this cool thing with you. Like, it felt in that moment like it wasn't about making a sale, but then I couldn't tell, because even when he says he wants it, he doesn't look like he's trying to have a conversation to get to him buying it. He looks like he's like, fuck, I fucked up. Why did I even show this to him?
I think that's part of it. I think for Howard and his character, he's just looking for the biggest cash flow. So he did mention, like, oh, no, I have it for auction.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, he said, shit, I forgot about the auction that I have it in, and that's going to give me a lot of money. Even if Kevin Garnett wanted to buy it now, I could have made more at the auction.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
So he does, though, like, get genuinely excitable to show it, and then does genuinely realize, I can't give this to you.
Yes, and then
Okay.
he'll like, with that given information for Howard,
Yeah.
he's going to manipulate that so that he comes off on top.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. So it wasn't like he was playing at being conflicted. He actually was conflicted.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I couldn't tell. Like, I'm like, are you trying to sell him this, or are you not trying to sell him
Well,
this? What do you want?
That's from my interpretation
Yeah.
of the rest of the movie.
Oh, gotcha.
But I could be completely wrong. It's been a while since I've watched it, and Howard is really all over the place throughout this whole movie.
I get that vibe.
Yeah.
Like, in the conversations he's having, like, with, is it Yussi? Or Yessie, or whatever his name is?
Yessie, yeah.
Yeah, in that conversation that they're having, which also I did not remember at all in the script. I'm assuming it, too, was not in there.
It was not in there.
Yeah, like, in that conversation that they're having in the back while he's looking at the gem, like...
You mean the conversation that only Yossi is
Well,
having?
yeah, but, like,
He's
even when he
just
throws him, like, the
completely-
Gucci shirt, like...
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, such a sleazy boss in that moment, too, because
Yeah.
he's, like... This guy is telling you this story about something that really upset him, and the only part of it you catch is, my shirt is torn, and he's like, fucking take this shirt so that you look like a fucking professional while you're out there. And he says it in a way where it's like, you know that's why he's handing him the shirt, is simply because he doesn't want you to look trashy in front of the customers. But at the same time, the words he says and what he says is like, I'm being generous and kind to you. It's a $500 brand new shirt, never been worn. Like you should be thanking me that I'm giving you my shirt. But I think it's obvious in the scene that even Yessie knows, like, you fucking asshole. Like, you don't care about me. You just care about me wearing a torn shirt.
Then he just immediately goes and ignores everything he says after that.
Yeah.
So.
I actually like that conflict with Yessie. in the actual like scene rather than in the script. He's just a background character that isn't adding to the stress of Howard. Mm-hmm. Like Howard's just bombarded with stress. You guys kind of saw it a little bit, but in the beginning of the scene, there's two people leaving in an elevator. Mm-hmm. Those people are there to collect money from Howard, and he's like super late and super behind on that. Because the whole thing is Howard is...
which accentuates this cash cow being inside of his building.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's got a gambling problem. That's a whole movie.
Yeah.
And that's why he gets mad at, like, he gets frustrated at that other guy for trying to sell these, like, cheapo watches when he's like, I'm not trying to sell a fucking watch. I'm going to sell, like, a big diamond.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird that he was like, in the script... He said, you're not a diamonds guy. You don't want ice. You want something better.
And it's the exact opposite in the scene.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because Kevin Garnett came in with diamonds already.
Maybe.
And maybe that's why they're like,
work.
That doesn't work. He is obviously an ice dude.
But even still, you can like other gems. Yeah. And you can have other sparkly rocks on you.
Right?
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, I don't know how it works, but, like, a big celebrity name like that that's coming in, you kind of have to, like, when they come in, they're, like, already wearing something or, like, not intimidating to ask them, like, can we change this? But you feel the need to, like, okay, well, like, we'll work around this.
Yeah,
after
like,
they get there.
We'll accentuate what you already have.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be it, too.
Oh, and also Howard didn't know that Opal was coming in. So maybe that's why he was so excited to see it and show it. Mm-hmm. So he totally forgot, like...
Yeah, because he's been waiting for how long? 17 months?
I mean, this guy seems like a dude who's, like, totally in his own little fucking world. Mm-hmm. Like, it's interesting when you say he's, like, the stress is accentuated by the conflict with Yessie, because I just feel like in that scene it looks like it doesn't even matter that Yessie's there. Like, he's totally in his head. Like, it's not doing anything to conflict with what he's thinking right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, because his mind is only on the black opal.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? Is the description of the opal in the script, like, does the visual do it justice, or...
hold on, I want to...
I do like that, you know, when it says, like, it's haunting and beautiful when, like, Amari is looking at it, and then when Kevin Garnett is looking at it, he's, like, seeing flashes of his past.
Yeah.
Like, pictures of him.
His like, life story. His whole... Like, the whole, like... Before you die, you see your life flash before your eyes. I feel like that's kind of what is happening here. Like, he's seeing his life in this gem and is like, I have to have this.
Yeah.
So much.
It definitely gives him more of a reason to want it than just, like, the psychedelic colors or whatever he saw in the script.
Yeah.
Like, gives it more meaning.
Emotional attachment.
Yep.
I'm not gonna... I don't... When I look at gems...
Yeah.
As an expert.
As an expert in gem finding.
Gem collecting.
Yes.
Gemologist.
Oh, no.
Not quite.
Dr. Ashley Higgs, gemologist.
Like, okay, when I'm trying to find a nice gem for my collection, I look at things that are different about it. So, like, depending on what it is that I'm looking at, it could be because one has, like, a weird, kind of unnatural formation, if that makes sense, or coloring that is, like, very different from, like, all the others that are in the batch with it.
Yeah.
So, this could be, you know, kind of like what, the reason why Howard bought this one, not just because it's probably highly illegal.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Kaleidoscope of color, light, and
It's rare and unique.
Well, I figured that he just ordered it and they just send him one. He doesn't, like...
See, I would not like that.
Yeah, I figure.
I would like to choose my gem.
Mail order. You know,
Well,
so whatever you get is whatever you get.
I mean, I don't know. I think in the video he shows the guy, it looks like it's the exact same rock, and I think
Oh,
that was his
that's
intention. Like, I think he hunted down and specifically wanted that. Like, he saw it in the video and he thought, I need that this.
One. Yeah.
And he made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Would you shop at Howard's then?
Fuck no, I wouldn't.
But Kevin,
well, first of all,
sketchy bitch.
First of all, I don't think I could afford anything in there.
Right.
Second,
all you have to give him is a ring back, right?
Oh yeah, because that's the type of reputation I have.
I don't know, that guy. I feel like, which is intentional, right? I think the filmmakers intentionally portray him as a character that like would rub you the wrong way. Like you're not, as the audience, you're not supposed to like him. He's in a not an anti-hero, but a what is it?
Not infamous.
Derogatous?
I don't know.
Derogatory?
Comment at us below the word we're trying to find, but intentional, like when the main character isn't a good guy. Like I know anti-hero is like sort of a word for it, but I don't think that's the one I'm looking for.
This is what I was thinking. Deuteragonist. Protagonist.
Yeah,
but it's
but
not,
that's not the right
about,
word. Yeah.
Overall, did you like the script or did you like the scene better? I think that'll be our last question.
I like the script better, but I think that one of the two of you said this and it hit the nail on the head. I think that what happened is, and I could be totally wrong, we don't actually know, but I believe what likely happened was they got a celebrity to be in the scene, and because of that person and a part of the parameters of getting them was that they needed to be the focal point of the scene, so we don't explore the other characters in the environment. And I feel from a filmmaking perspective, the scene would be better if we were exploring the other characters in the environment, because I think it would aid and add to the chaotic nature of the scene and help the audience be jumping around a lot more from shot to shot, so that we're building up visual anxiety and discomfort in the scene, and
didn't give you anxiety.
They don't do
already?
that. No, not for me. I mean, not the way it's shot. Like I feel like there's just not a lot of, to me, enough shot variety for me to get that emotion built up. Like I don't feel tension in this scene.
Okay.
Personally. Like I think that, and I would credit the actors, right? Like I think their performances attempt really hard to establish that tension, and I think that their performances are great. But from a cinematography standpoint, no, I wish that there was more variety. I wish the editing was faster paced. I wish we were cutting more and faster, and that it was accelerating as the scene goes on, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ashley?
Huh? I mean, I was able to follow along better in the script than I was in the scene with... Or, well, I don't know. I don't know. They are both equally the same. In my opinion, of, like, trying to follow along and, like... Because the whole, like, flirting with the other person, like, that wasn't in there, but then it was another altercation with... Or, well, not really altercation, but another thing with it. But not even a flirtatious. No. It's the one guy that was trying to sell the... Oh. Yeah. That was trying to sell the watch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, instead of having the... Like, that part was also in the script, but it was more focused on the two of them instead of just a very, like, quick thing. And I think it was the wrong person, too. It was Yusi who was trying to do the watch instead of Damani.
In the script?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
remember either.
After watching the scene, I was like, is any of this in here? I don't even know.
Yeah, Yusi was trying to sell when Howard's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah. You know, go back to the back. And
then
Yusi
that's when
left.
he gets upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, again, it would help seeing the full movie, because I feel like the context Ashley and I are missing is like, what's the relationship between Damani and Howard in the movie, and is that...
That's the first time you see them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first time you've seen
it? Yeah, all you need to know, I guess,
because he makes it sound like, I know like you have a great deal. Yeah, like they come across like sort of like street partners, right? Mm-hmm. Like not necessarily that he works for the business per se, but that he's got some sort of commission or horse in this race.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about this movie is, like, I feel like it's so just, like, you're supposed to know things, and it's so just, like, there's so many coincidences that it just feels unnatural. and it's so hectic. So it's like, all right, like that's kind of like the point of this is Howard's a mess, so the movie's hectic, but it's like I feel like there needs to be more details and more like backstory. So,
bummer.
Interesting.
I disagree. Hey, The Weeknd's in this.
Oh,
yeah, The Weeknd's
sold. Does he sing?
Yeah, that's his whole thing, and he
sold.
He almost gets to fuck.
Oh
so
my
you get
God.
to see that.
What percentage of nudity are we
Maybe
talking?
you're gonna have to watch it to find out.
No.
But just know it's in a club bathroom.
Oh,
Get into
of
that.
all the places.
I mean, that's the place to do it if you're
but like
in that environment.
Talking with a musician, like that's what you want.
With groupies, yeah, it's
Fuck
always gonna be in a fucking club bathroom.
Yeah.
Or the like green room, right?
Yeah,
No,
you don't want to do it in a nice bed at a hotel if
No,
you're
that thing
hooking up
is-
with
ugh.
like
It's supposed to be a mistake.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm with you.
For personal experience. What? No, what? Okay. Cool. So, thanks again for joining us on New Script on the Block, and with this session being before the scene. All right, and I was with Ashley, Graham, and Alyssa, and just if you're super into what we discuss, you can catch us every week by subscribing on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And yeah, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or comment at us wherever you're listening this podcast on, and tell us what you think of how we thought of the Uncut Gems. And also, we're super open to opinions, so if you have a certain movie and a movie script you would like us to read, do a table read of, and then review it as a script and review it as a visual scene, like a completed scene, just give us some of your suggestions. All right, well, tune in next time.
I like that Nero does subliminal messaging without even meaning to, because he
Do
says
I?
you say like a lot, so I feel
Yeah.
I feel like when you say like,
Conspiracy.
it's you're
Like.
slowly sending them the message.
Like it, like.
And subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Comment, like.
Hit that bell notification.
Okay, goodbye.